Viewer voice messages, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. Falcons Saints in a few hours. Very excited. Also, North London Derby, Arsenal Tottenham. So let's go ahead and get into the messages. Let's knock them out. We're going to try and get through all of them. We're going to try and get a clean slate. All right, so we're going to try and do all of them. We've got quite a few, so let's not mess about. First up is Simon. Here we go.
What's good, James?
What's up, man?
I would like to say, I want to sound like a fanatic real quick. I'm gonna just say some things, but I think Tyler Shough played very good. I think that this team looks good right now. Just one game, but it looked very good, a very convincing win. And Tyler Shough played better than Derek Carr did. Almost that game from Tyler Shough was better than a lot of Derek Carr games last year. That was the best QB performance play that we've seen in a long time. Like, seriously. Gave receivers chances to make plays. Like, the running game looks good. What do you think about this? Since we got rid of Trevor Penning, we had a 100-yard rushing game. A lot of the times, at the beginning of the season, our games, we had 100-yard rushing. And who wasn't on the field? Trevor Penning. I'm not saying it's all on him, but, man, like, that's kind of crazy to think about. And you got, you got Rashid Shaheed. We traded him, and Chris Olave, he comes out of here and comes through the gate and with a 100-yard receiving and a touchdown. So I don't know. I think it's really crazy. What do you think about Trevor Penning being gone and us like running good now?
I mean, I think it's hard to pinpoint that and be like, all right, this is why we had a good running game because Trevor Penning was out on the field. There certainly. It could be, right? Certainly it could be that the communication was better or people just knew what they were doing or whatever. It's certainly possible. One data point isn't really enough to, fully say like, all right, we're back now running the football just because Trevor Penning's not there. But it could be a thing where he was hurting the offensive line and moving forward. Hopefully we continue having some success on the ground. I have seen the Tyler Shough, Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler thing quite a bit. Like, oh, well, Shuck was better than Carr's been, or Shuck is better than Rattler's been, or whatever. I hesitate with that because it's one of those things where it really doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if Shuck is better than Carr or better than Rattler. We just need a good version of Shuck. Like, we need a good version, a continued successful version of Shuck. To use like a different team, but being like Brock Purdy's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, well, that doesn't really matter. Like it might be true, it might be false, whatever. All that matters is that he's playing the best of his abilities in whatever game, right? And in this situation, it's the Falcons game. So Carr or Rattler or Shuck or Bobby Hebert or whatever, doesn't really matter. Could care less. He just has to play well now, whatever version of that looks like. If that looks like a Derek Carr or Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler or whatever, doesn't matter. It's just he's got to be good. He's got to be good moving forward. And, but yeah, I mean, the Penning thing is, if it continues, then it absolutely might be the case where the offensive line is such a group that's focused on communication. If you throw that off, who knows? All right, next up, Michael McCann.
Hey James, how you doing, man?
What's up, Mike?
Mike here calling in. Who that, man? Good win for the Saints.
Yeah, who that?
We deserved it. We needed it. I think the guys balled out. I think Tyler Shough balled out. AK with a updated resume there. In this,
huge game
half of the season. Cam Jordan getting there. A lot of people not mentioning the defense that much, but Avante Taylor coming up with that pick in the third quarter there.
Yeah, it was nice.
If I'm not mistaken. Chase Young, all those guys, balling out, the rookies, Quincy Riley just being there supporting on the back half, Jonas Sinker, all those guys on the back half, just supporting that defense, getting that front, being very, very effective on Bryce Young. I think they really, really bring the house down. A lot of rushing straight to the quarterback, not a lot of blitz packages. I think Brandon Staley did a good job containing Rico Dowell and just stopping.
Yeah, Staley's done a good job against the premier players. Like he hasn't really. I mean, the Bears game was the one game where it's like, what's going on here? Like, we just don't have answers for anything. But most of the other games, I mean, the defense contained kind of who they had to contain.
Going to run, man, and just being there, I think they did a really, really good job for that defense goes. I know Tyler Shough played a really, really good game, but I think enough credit isn't going towards the defense. I think in this game, they held the line of scrimmage pretty well. Eliminating, deep ball, containing Bryce Young. No scramble drills. I think he had one good run for a first down. I think early in the game. Besides that, not many rushing attempts by Bryce Young. It was really all Rico Dow in the rushing attack. Like I said, I think the offensive line for the Saints played pretty decent. I don't think they were, bad by any measure. But I think on the other hand, Tyler Shough, man, he did.
Yeah, there was a couple plays where they were getting smoked. I mean, Tyler Shough had to make some magic happen. Certainly, the offensive line was not giving him just nonstop perfect pockets. So it's amazing what results and all that will do for everybody, where now it's like, yeah, the offensive line was all right. I think if you go back and watch it, I think there's quite a few plays that were really positive plays where the offensive line didn't give Shuck much to work with. Or Kamara. There was a few plays where Kamara, him getting 1 or 2 yards, he had to absolutely work a miracle to get 1 or 2 yards.
Really good job for it, getting a lot of those pass attempts off. Finding guys like Chris Olave, in situations where, they just traded Rashid Shaheed, Trevor Penning, I think the receiving core and the offensive line, the big part of the offense played really, really well, in support of the rookie in his second start. I think they were there. I think the tight ends played really good for us blocking Jawan, Foster Moreau. I think they did really good for us, just being there supporting, protecting the quarterback. I think Devin Neal, I think he also goes unspoken for in this game, coming in, catching passes up the backfield, helping El Kamara carry that workload for us, toting the rock, and also blocking. He did have one good, really, really good block on that Chris Olave touchdown. Going back watching the film, those guys, offensive line, they blocked very well. They protected Tyler very well, and Tyler being able to see that, see the blitz and see that pocket, feel that pocket collapsing. He was able to step up and just deliver a really, really perfect ball. I would like to say, to Chris Olave, and just Chris Olave being able to just be there to catch it, man, and just being able to, surprise everybody.
Yeah, Olave had a huge game. I mean, one of the best games he's had as a Saint.
Because I think going in this game, my hopes were pretty low for Chris. I'm just thinking, him being there a couple years ago, getting hurt, and just being able, which he did get a touchdown last year in Carolina when he did get that concussion. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he got a concussion on a touchdown drive. But besides that, man, I think Kellen Moore, man, I think he's definitely a book. We need to take a deeper look into. Read a little bit more. I feel like
well, like the book metaphor. Pretend it's like a 500-page book, right? And people are trying to decide if they like or not like the book after the first couple of chapters. You don't have to. You can read it. You can read the whole thing and then decide. So that's where we are with Kellen, where it's just so early. I mean, it's still so early into this whole process. He's only had 2 games with Tyler Shough. We don't even know. We don't even know who the players are going to be, who the starters are going to be, who the future is, whatever. We got to let this thing play out. This is a long developing thing. So, yeah, we got to allow Kellen to get the reps and to see how he adjusts and pivots and whatever.
The offense goes. I think we come in here thinking, he's going to come in high slinging it, like the Eagles. He's not in Philly anymore. This is New Orleans style football. So I think with a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, I think with this season, coming to an end, I think Kellen Moore, man, I think he'll go ahead and get it together. And if not, hey, we move on. We get we figure out that when we cross that bridge. Hopefully, Nick Loomis can get it together for us. So but I appreciate your content, man. It's awesome Saints content. I'm always tuning into you every Sunday throughout the week as well, man. You're awesome at what you do. Who that face the franchise, my boy.
The best.
Thanks for having me, man. You have a great evening.
Hey, Michael, I appreciate that, man. Great call. All right, next up, Big K, the super fan.
What's going on, James?
What's
Mr.
up, man?
Face of the franchise.
What's happening?
Nobody does it better.
True.
Big K superfan, aka Young K, calling back in with another call.
Unbelievable.
The last time was so fun, I had to do it again.
Boom. So nice you
I
had to
really
do it
just
twice.
wanted to take this opportunity to clown the Falcons. If you wanted to join me,
Absolutely.
I'm just having a hard
I
time
love it.
understanding why they thought they were going to be so good this year.
Group think, my guy. Copy and paste, my guy. That's all this is. Straight up. It's just copy and paste. It's just, well, Falcons dark horse candidate. Okay, cool. And then CBS Sports says it, and then Fox Sports says it, and then this person says it, and that person says it. I know who Bijan Robinson is. They say it, and they say it, and they say it. And then all of a sudden, they suck again.
And it is kind of funny watching them be 3-7. Because aren't they supposed to be like competing for a Super Bowl right now? Aren't they supposed to be contending? Like what happened?
I don't know.
Like, can you answer me, James? Like, I don't know. Like, you let me know, because I can't seem to find an answer from a Falcons fan. Like, weren't they supposed to be contending this year, or wasn't Kyle Pitts supposed to take a step or something like that? Like,
what? Yeah, I mean, it's the Penix. He got anointed way too early, and he was just okay. He's good after 3 starts. You know, his rookie season. All of a sudden, it was like, all right, they're good at quarterback. We're good to go. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe not. You know, you don't even know how good a quarterback is after 1 full season, much less 3 games. You know, so I think they just got way ahead of themselves with saying Raheem Morris is a good coach, Michael Penix is a good quarterback. On we move, and it's like, well, that seems like I think we got to take a step back there. And Morris has been horrible, and Penix has been bad too, and now he's hurt.
Didn't they find their quarterback with Penix? Like, didn't they already, like, wasn't Raheem Morris, even though he was horrible last year, like, wasn't he supposed to magically figure it out this year? Like, wasn't that also, like, what happened? Like, weren't they supposed to be like a 7-8 win team already in week 10? Like, weren't they supposed to already be, like, clinch the playoffs? Like, help me. Like, am I missing something? Like,
no, this is multiple years running too. Like last year, we have videos on the channel where people were predicting the Falcons to have 12 wins. 12.
Weren't they supposed to be like number 1 in the division, not 3-2 or 3-7 or whatever they are? Weren't they supposed to be like super duper good? What happened? Like, what happened? I'm really confused, because I went on the app this morning and I saw that they were 3rd place in the division with 1 more win than the Saints. And I'm like, wait, what? Like,
well, it's kind of funny that they're in the same situation as the Saints are, because last year that we kept comparing them to the Saints. You know, we kept comparing them to the Kirk Cousins situation is pretty similar to the Derek Carr situation. The Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Ray McLeod situation is kind of similar to the Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed situation. You know, like, it's all just kind of the same. It's all just, defensive head coach, Dennis Allen, Raheem Morris, both previously had failed as head coaches. So it was just a lot of the same, but Atlanta was getting this huge pass. And now they're in similar spots, but the Saints are a year ahead, because now the Falcons are going to have to fire their coach, fire their OC, get a new DC, get a new OC, get a new head coach, figure out the quarterback situation, pay all these players. I mean, Bijan Robinson is still on a rookie contract, so they're in a bad spot.
Falcons. No way the Falcons only have 1 more win than the Saints. No, that can't be, right?
Yeah.
There's no way, right? So, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to take this opportunity to, maybe you can just shine some light on this for me, help me understand. Like, weren't they supposed to be good this year? Like, weren't they supposed to be 12-5? Like, weren't they supposed to, because they beat the Bucks twice last year, right? So weren't they supposed to magically just all of a sudden be this 13-win team because they beat the Bucks twice last year? Like, I don't know, man. Like, please help me, James. I'm having a hard time. But you're the greatest. You do the best. I kind of wanted to mention, I'll do that next call. But just help me out, James. Like, what happened? Like, were they supposed to be good? Like, I mean, because they seem to have the exact same team as they did before the season started. So, I mean, I'm not sure what changed. Like, I'm not sure what changed. Like, what made y'all a Super Bowl team before and what made y'all not one now? Like, please explain to me. But shout out to you, James. You're the greatest.
Much appreciated, man. Something that I always tell people is you never, ever want to back a team doing something they've never done before, right? Like years ago when the Jacksonville Jaguars were supposed to take a step and people were picking them to win the AFC. And it's like, guys, they got to be good first. It's very difficult to go from bad and skip all the middle part and all of a sudden be like, I'm an AFC competing team. The Houston Texans, same thing. After CJ Stroud's first year, there was a lot of people saying like, all right, well, the Texans are AFC, dark horses. It's like, look, they got to live in that space of good. So for the Falcons, like Kirk Cousins, right? It was like Kirk Cousins is going to come in and lead Atlanta to the Super Bowl. It's like Kirk has never done that for any other team. Why would he all of a sudden do it now? Kirk has to prove that he can win playoff games and go to the NFC title game or go do all this stuff. You don't like Tom Brady going to Tampa. Tom Brady had proven he could do that, right? He could drag that team. He could do whatever, but that wasn't the case with a lot of the people on the Falcons who like the Falcons offense, right? Arthur Smith, they fired him. So then they get Raheem Morris. Like, okay, well, how are y'all going to fix the offense? He's a defensive guy. Zach Robinson, first-time OC. It's like, all right, well, I don't even know if he can do this. I don't even know if he can be an OC. First-time OC. So I'm supposed to believe that not only can he be an OC, but he can be a really good OC, good enough to fix this offense. I don't know. It's asking a lot. All right, next up is Max.
Hey, James, this is Max.
What's up, man?
The face of the franchise.
Yeah.
You're awesome, dude.
I appreciate that.
My question to you is, when do I buy a Tyler Shough jersey? When is it reasonable for me to buy a Tyler Shough jersey? Because I was really close on buying a Spencer Rattler jersey. But, yeah, that's my question.
I got an answer. I think if he plays well and beats Atlanta, and plays well, I'm not talking about like beats Atlanta 3-2, right? And Shuck goes 7 for 44 for 96 yards and whatever. If Shuck plays well and they beat Atlanta, and Black Friday hits, I think you can go ahead and get your jersey. Go ahead and lock in the discount. That's how I would do it. So I'd wait, see if he plays well against Atlanta, see the Black Friday deal, and then let it rip. All right, next up is Jay.
What's up, James?
What's up,
Jay
man?
here.
Yeah.
Want to tap in back in with the face of the franchise
tap in back in. Easy.
Say a few things to you, get your opinions on a few things. But
Came to the right place.
I didn't watch it yet, but I just saw the title of your new video. How many games can the Saints win?
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe, depending on the performance after this Falcons game, I believe we could go on a generational run. I mean, look at our schedule, James. Panthers again, Falcons twice, depending on the game this week. Then we have Jets, Miami, Titans, and Bucks. I mean, the only game that might, Bucks. But I think we could beat the Bucks, especially considering last year that we only lost to the Bucks because of a dual offense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
If Tyler Shough has his offense rolling like how we think he can have this offense rolling, and Kellen has this whole team going, I think we can go on a run, go 8-8 to end the season, and just maybe, James, just maybe sneak into those playoffs. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do anything in the playoffs.
Okay, let's just hold on now.
But we can sneak into the playoffs. I was looking.
Okay, let's just hold on now. Now, you had me until that. Let's not be talking about playoff aspirations. That would be absolutely insane in the memory.
At the playoff bracket, I mean, there's a couple locks in there that are going to make it. I feel like there is one to two slots. I feel like the 49ers will take a slot to make it 6 slots taken. But between the Panthers, the Vikings, the Bears.
Well, the problem is going to be the NFC North, because whoever takes that is up above us. So, I mean, we're not making the playoffs, all right? But we can absolutely beat Atlanta at home. We can absolutely beat Carolina at home. We can absolutely beat the Titans. Can absolutely beat the Jets. Can beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins are frisky, though. At Tampa's difficult, for sure. And then, divisional at Atlanta is difficult. But we can win more than we lose, which, if that's what happens in the back half of the season, I'm all for it.
I don't know, James. I think the Bears is fugazi. I think
the Bears are fugazi.
at some point, some teams got to get to them. You know what I mean? And they
No, I
start
agree.
losing games
Yeah,
and
they are
dropping,
fugazi.
and we start going up. But that's my take. Let me know what you think. I'm probably going to hear it in this video, but you're the face of the franchise, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Look, they can not gonna make the playoffs, but they can win out. Just not win out, but they can win all but the Tampa game. I think it is totally reasonable to even expect that. To even expect to win all the games that you're supposed to and then lose to Tampa. But it all dictates on what happens in a couple of hours, because we're working under the assumption that the Saints they can do what they are supposed to do. So they can win the games they're supposed to win. They can beat teams they're supposed to beat. That's what we're working with, right? We're working with that assumption that they can do that. If they lose to the Falcons at home, Kirk Cousins, no Drake London, whatever, all that goes out the window. So we got to see this Falcons game. But if they beat the Falcons, especially if they beat them handedly, then we can kind of have the assumption that if we are playing a lesser team in a good situation, like at home or whatever, then we can get the win. But we got to prove it first. We are putting the chickens before the cart here. So we got to prove we can do it. But the second they prove they can do it, I'm all in. And that could be in a couple hours. All right, next up, ladies man Chris. Respect.
Hey, James. It's your boy Chris again. I don't know if you got my last voice message.
Yeah, brother.
But
Come on.
yeah, so recently I saw this whole thing about Gail Benson pretty much defending that ass goblin, Mickey Loomis. And I got to say, I know you probably don't seem like the type of person that want to just dwell on stuff like this, but it kind of makes you wonder if Mickey hadn't got lucky and landed Kellen Moore.
Okay, hold on now, because we're Mickey certainly is getting lucky a lot. Pause. All right, because I heard that he got lucky with Sean Payton, and then I heard that he got lucky with Drew Brees, and then I heard he got lucky with the draft classes. It was all Sean Payton, whatever, and then I heard he got lucky with Clint Kubiak. But then I heard he got lucky with Kellen Moore. And it's starting to get to the point to where he's getting lucky a lot. And I don't know. At a certain point, you got to just say, okay, maybe he's just kind of cooking.
Who would we have gotten, right? Because before Kellen Moore, there was Mike McCarthy, and there was interest there. And most people probably don't know this, but Mike McCarthy was the Saints offensive coordinator. I believe it was 2003 he was our offensive coordinator. I can't quite remember that correctly. I could be wrong. But it seems like he's gotten lucky. But, on the flip side of that, and by the way, if you want to laugh, Matt Moscona looks like the Peanut people from the Proud Family. So while you're on the video, whenever this is uploaded, look up Peanut People. Look up Peanut People, the Proud Family.
I remember the Raisin People. Remember those little statues, like little toys back in like the late 80s, early 90s?
And you will get a laugh with that big dome head. Good God. Anyways, getting back to the positive. I enjoyed and I really liked Tyler Shough's performance. I guess, like last week on Sunday against Carolina. However, I'm not exactly ready to christen Tyler Shough yet.
Don't have to. Again, we don't have good news. We don't have to do that. We can wait. We can wait a whole year. We can wait 20 starts. We don't have to do nothing. He's under contract. We drafted him. He's the starting quarterback. We're fine. We don't have to christen him. We don't have to build the statue. We don't have to do any of that stuff. All we got to do is say, hey, is he good enough to play next week? And then at the end of the season, is he good enough to play next year, or do we need to draft somebody? That's it. That's all we got to do right now.
I hope he works out, because you always hope the guy that you drafted is going to be your guy, right?
Okay, let me back up to the Mickey Loomis thing. So I recently had a commenter who was saying that Loomis has to, someone has to pay for drafting Marcus Davenport. And I asked the commenter, I replied and said, who do you think had the loudest voice in the room when it came to drafting Marcus Davenport? Do you really think it was Loomis driving that boat? And they said yes. And then I said, well, who do you think drafted Alvin Kamara? Who do you think had the loudest voice drafting Alvin Kamara? And they said Sean Payton. So what I push back against is the idea that Sean Payton was luck. Drew Brees was luck. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Trey Hendrickson, all those draft picks were Sean Payton. But Marcus Davenport, Peyton Turner, Trevor Penning, Isaiah Foskey, whoever, that was all Loomis. And then Kubiak was luck, and then Moore was luck. And so I think if you look at it from, because I mean we got a long time to look at this, like a lot of data points. I just think there's a lot of like you're I don't want to say cherry picking, but you're kind of moving the pieces in a pretty obvious direction sometimes with the Mickey Loomis slander. Now, if you want to say, hey, I give him credit for this, I give him credit for that, but I knock him for this and I knock him for that, okay, fine. I feel like Dr. Seuss right there. That's totally understandable, totally fine. That is okay, and that's where I'm at. Give him credit for the good stuff, knock him for the bad stuff. No doubt. You got to give him credit for creating what the Saints were. You can knock him for believing in Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen and letting all that happen for a couple of years. Then you got to give him credit for getting off of it quick and going in a completely different direction and going with Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy was the easiest option possible for Loomis. A coach that's going to come in and be a total yes man, already a proven guy, you're not going to rock the boat hiring Mike McCarthy, right? You're not going to get fired at Fidelity for telling somebody to invest in Bank of America, right? It's like, sure, fine. You're not rocking the boat, you're not doing anything crazy. And Loomis could have got out of the media or spotlight. He could have just hired McCarthy. Coaching search over. Don't have to worry about anything else. Go into the offseason, go fish, and go play golf. That would have been the easiest thing in the world. He already knows Mike McCarthy, right? They already know, there's already all that there. But you got to give him credit for drawing the line in the sand and saying, no, I'm waiting this out. And I'm going to go in a total different direction. Before hiring Kellen Moore, all I heard was Loomis only wants people he knows, only wants voices, inside voices, yes man voices. That's all he wants. And then he goes in the complete opposite direction. It gets nothing but outside voices. He cleans house, right? He doesn't retain anybody. Nothing but new ideas. Nothing but a new start with Kellen Moore, his staff, Brandon Staley, his staff. So I know it's a polarizing subject for some reason. And you know what's kind of funny about that? If you go look at the Falcons Reddit and Twitter and whatever else and comment sections, you know who they're blaming right now? Terry Fontenot and Arthur Blank. I saw it said, we'll never win as long as Arthur Blank is the owner of this team. And there may be some truth to that, whatever, but it just goes to show you that boogeyman theory that I always talk about, that there's always a scapegoat. There's always a singular figure. The offensive coordinator, the head coach, the GM, the owner. And sometimes there's some truth to it. But you also got to focus on the players. You got to focus on the players on the field sometimes, and you got to share the blame and share the credit across the board. Finding the singular boogeyman very rarely solves anything. Arthur Smith with the Falcons was the boogeyman for a while. Get him out of here, right? Get Arthur Smith out and we'll be good to go.
But I think this team is starting to really figure out its identity.
True. I agree.
You still have, some glaring holes, but this draft has seemed pretty decent for the most part, right? I don't like the fact that we're not seeing a whole lot of Danny Stutzman. I mean, he's probably getting, more reps. He got more reps, I believe, the last game. Yeah. But Quincy Riley seems to be different. Seems to be decent, sorry.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit, Kelvin Banks, dude, is an absolute stud in my opinion.
Yep,
I really like Jonas Sinker. Yeah, he's had some difficulty, but I think people forget that he is still a rookie, and in the first half of the season, we've gone against, some playoff contenders, right? So you should expect your rookie to look like a rookie against some of those really good guys, and especially against the Rams, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, the rest of that offense. That's a pretty tough draw, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the other thing that I like about this team is that it seems like, people are really starting to rally around Tyler Shough, right? I mean, the energy seems to be reigniting. I would still like to see if we have something in Devin Neal, but I'm sure that, we'll probably see that in due time. It's kind of hard to really see what we have in Devin Neal right now because Alvin Kamara is still running back one.
But same with Danny Stutzman. It's hard to see what we have in Danny Stutzman in full when DeMario Davis is still the man.
The whole thing with Kingdre Miller is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But hey, as they say in football, it's the next man up.
True.
And it is a what have you done for me lately business. But side note.
Yeah, I mean, in football and spring break with Bonnie Blue, it's next man up.
Before I get off of here, I still think that Gail Benson should sell this team because hot ham, damn, turkey, fresh hell. She is not running this team correctly.
Man, I just saw something a friend sent me. It was about someone said something like Gail Benson wouldn't know who Luke Fortner is if he walked in the building or something like that. And guys, I gotta remind you, what do you think Gail Benson's day-to-day is? Do you think she know? I wouldn't know Luke Fortner if he walked in here. And I'm no one's more tuned into the team than me. If Luke Fortner walked into my apartment, I wouldn't know who the hell he is. All right. Gail Benson is not dealing with the roster. She is not dealing with the X's and O's. She is not watching game tape and drafting players, and you don't want her to. Why would you want her to? It's like I think there's a real disconnect on what the role is of the owner and the GM and the coaches and the personnel departments and all, how they mesh and how they work. Mickey is not charting plays watching Illinois versus San Diego State. That's not his job. That's not what he does. He's in the conversation during, whatever, but he's not grading out offensive lineman reps in Penn State versus Iowa. And Gail isn't memorizing the faces of the players. Again, no one watches this team more than me. I would have no clue if Jonas Sanker walked in here. I would have no idea if Dylan Radins walked in here, unless he said, "Hi, I'm Dylan Radins." But I don't know. It's just a crazy thing of what I think, what is expected of Gail as an owner, and what's it just doesn't happen. Do you think the Seahawks owner is making personnel decisions? Do you know who the Seahawks owner is? No. Next up, Colin A.
Good afternoon, Mr. James Skrmetta.
How's it going, man?
AKA FOTF.
Yeah, the best.
AKA face of the franchise.
Yes.
Or good morning if you listen to this in the morning. I'm not sure
afternoon.
when you listen to this message,
afternoon.
But either way, good day to you, sir. I'm recording this the day before the Falcons game, so on the Saturday.
Oh,
just
okay.
for Caroline's sake.
Yeah.
But I was in the middle of watching your video from 2 days ago. So the one that's reacting to NOF about the value of a win.
Yes.
And what it means for this team.
Good video.
If they win against the Falcons tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're basically saying how it would validate the hire of Kellen Moore.
Yes.
The hire of Brandon Staley, the rookie class, et cetera, et cetera. But I was kind of thinking, what if I play a little bit of devil's advocate?
Devil's advocate, remember where that term come from. Pop quiz. We're trying to get smarter here. Devil's advocate, when someone is beatified, what is beatification? When they're becoming a saint. When someone is becoming a saint, there is a devil's advocate that's assigned that has to argue against the sainthood. All right. And that's part of the process. Okay. So let's just say Mother Teresa or whatever. When she's being beatified, there is someone assigned to argue against it and to try and stop it or whatever, just to offer a different opinion. That's where the term devil's advocate comes from.
In a sense. And what if we lose tomorrow?
That would suck. That would suck if we lose. I'm so nervous for this game because it is such a big deal. And if we lose, there is going to be serious backlash from the fan base, for sure. But I think there will also be justified questions. You are coming off of a bye week. You have a very weakened Atlanta Falcons team you're facing. You've got Atlanta in a horrible scheduling spot, right? Every single advantage is in your corner. You're at home. You're rested. The injury report, all of that. So if you drop it, what happened? What went wrong? Was it the planning, the prep, the players, the coaches? What happened? And it would be it ain't going to be a fun Monday for your boy if that's what we're talking about.
Obviously, that would suck because we all hate the Falcons and Falcons hate week. But I was kind of thinking, what if we lose tomorrow, but the team still progresses?
How is that possible? That's what I'm saying. A lot of the times when we're talking about like losing, winning, whatever, you got to also factor in what goes into a loss, what goes into a win. I don't think the team can progress if we lose against the Falcons, at least on the short term. Because if we lose against the Falcons, how did we lose? Did Tyler Shough play poorly? Did the defense play poorly? Did the whole offense play poorly? Was it the game plan? Was it the play calling? Something went awry. Probably a lot of stuff went awry. All right? So you're taking an enormous step back if you lose that game.
It looks amazing. Kellen Moore has a pretty good game coaching-wise. Defense plays average to above average.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, Tyler Shough can't be amazing. Kellen Moore can't have a good day play calling, and the defense play above average, and we lose this game.
And the rookies that play are all still playing pretty well. I think if we still lose tomorrow and that happens, I still think the team could be in a pretty good spot because it's still showing progression. We're still showing advancement throughout the year. And that's kind of what you want of this year, even though a win would be amazing, and I guess the Falcons. But I still think that would be pretty good, at least in my opinion. So I was kind of thinking what you would think if we had this hypothetical devil's advocate situation happen tomorrow. I said it would suck, but I was kind of hoping for your opinion on that. Like always, great work. Keep up with the good videos. I love watching videos every day, or at least when I can. You're amazing. Have a good day, brother. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too in this situation. The French word for cake, gâteau. But you can't have progression. Everyone plays well. The rookies look good. Kellen Moore is lighting it up, and we lose. You know, like, okay, hold on. You can have that with a win, and that's why I want a win. But if you have a loss, more than likely, Tyler Shough has taken an enormous step backwards. No one is playing good. The defense probably gets eaten up by Kirk effing Cousins, right? Kellen Moore doesn't have the team prepared. Like, more than likely, that's the situation if we lose. So that's a disaster, right? Like, any of that. Even if, let's say, the defense plays average, Kellen Moore calls an okay game, but Tyler Shough looks terrible, and we lose. If that's just, like, if Tyler Shough playing terrible is how we lose, that's horrible, because what does that do? That throws everything to flux. Is Tyler Shough the guy moving forward? Do we draft a quarterback now? Like, what's that look like? What do we do with it? Changes everything, right? So that's why the win is so important, because it answers so many questions. Main event, the last call of the episode and of the week. Cool Sports Rhymes guy. This guy got a lot of love on the comment section last time.
Mr. James.
What's up, brother?
Skrmetta, Mr. James. Skrmetta, Mr. James. Skrmetta, Mr. James. Skrmetta, no other podcaster does it better. Mr. James. Skrmetta, Mr. James. Skrmetta, Mr. James. Mr. James.
I mean, this could be 4 minutes of this. I don't know. This could be like Thriller. Thriller was like an 8-minute song. This could be it right here.
Hello, James. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Today I wanted to talk about the NFL in
How do
general,
I make that my ringtone?
How I believe that they don't want things to be as fair as possible when it comes to the referees and the officials with their calls.
Okay.
Or no calls.
All right.
In my opinion, I know it's a touchy subject, but in my opinion, I don't believe the NFL wants things to be as fair as possible, because if they did, to me, they would make every call reviewable.
Well, the game would take
I
forever.
think they want to be able to cheat, to be able to help certain teams win, or to be able to manipulate the games. Now, I will say I don't go as far as to say that the NFL is rigged, because when I think of
Well,
rigged, I think of like where you have a predetermined outcome where
okay.
all parties involved agree to to a certain outcome being had. So that
Yeah.
would mean both teams are in on it, as well as the officials are in on it, and it's kind of like the WWE
Yeah.
basically. But I don't think the
Yeah.
NFL is like the WWE, like
Okay.
some fans try to say. Because in my opinion, if it was that way, to where it was completely rigged, where all parties involved manipulated things to try to have a certain outcome, then I don't believe that the players would be so emotional about the game like they are, if they already knew they were going to lose the game anyway. But take, for example, like when you have somebody like Debo Samuel crying after a loss,
Yeah.
or you have like Terrell Owens. I don't know if you remember Terrell Owens
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
at the podium
My
talking about
quarterback. Yeah.
crying about
Jeff Garcia,
Tony
right?
Romo, talking
Tony
about, that's my
Romo? Tony Romo.
quarterback.
Yeah.
That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback.
Was
But
it Tony or
I
Jeff
don't
Garcia?
believe if it was completely rigged, that the players would get that emotional about the games,
Yeah.
unless they're all just good actors. Maybe they take acting classes and they're all just like great actors or something like that. But which I doubt. But I think they should make every call reviewable, and I disagree with the people that says it would make the game take a whole lot longer, because we only get three challenges a game anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we
So you're saying make every call reviewable, but keep the 3 challenge rule.
have unlimited challenges. And then when it comes to the last 2 minutes of each quarter, I believe that all the reviews have to come from above
Yeah.
anyway. So the only
Yes.
difference is that you would be increasing the amount of plays that would be reviewed. Like, take for example, our we know how they cheated us in 2018 with the no call. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if they would have had review during that instance, the Sean Payton could have threw a flag, a challenge flag, and they would have been able to challenge it. But of course, you know, now the year after they did it, but then I think the NFL purposely tried to make a statement, and they purposely didn't try to overturn those calls, because I think they were trying to make a statement. I think they want to be able to cheat, to be able to manipulate games. But I wonder what your opinions about that is. Um, as always, enjoy listening to your show. Keep up the good
Thank you,
work.
man. Okay, so the first thing, this is kind of paradoxical, but giving every single play or every single call or whatever, being able to review every single call, every single play, every single penalty would theoretically give the refs and the NFL more power to manipulate a game if they were manipulating games, right? If you could review everything, then that would give them way more opportunity to manipulate certain situations. Here's why I'm against review of every single play or every single penalty or whatever. It's kind of the same in the NBA and college basketball. When you slow something down in replay, you can almost call anything you want at any time. Like, how many times have we seen a ball, like in basketball, deflect off of somebody or whatever, and when they go to replay, you see like a microscopic fiber of the shoelace hit the ball last. You know, it's like, I think that's where replay goes too far. You know, like seeing the microscopic blade of grass in between the cleat and the line or whatever to sway it, it's like, it might be a little bit too much. Pass interference was a great example of that. If you slow it down to frame by frame, all that hand fighting and stuff looks way worse. And then all of a sudden, what probably shouldn't be pass interference is pass interference. Especially whenever it's like a deep ball or a Hail Mary. If you throw a Hail Mary in the end zone and you slowed it down, I guarantee you could find pass interference on that play. But you don't really want that. You don't really want to slow it down so much. Like holding, for example. this is what would happen. If play at the end of the Super Bowl to walk off the Super Bowl, well, the defensive coordinator or the losing team, they would be in a great position to challenge it and say, well, there was holding. And then if you slowed down the offensive line to a frame by frame, you're going to find holding, right? That's why they don't do it. Because then a coach is just going to throw stuff at the wall and say, oh, well, this was pass interference. And I'm telling you, you don't want that. Replay is already kind of questionable with that because it's so slow and it doesn't always line up with what's happening in real time, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of plays where if you slowed it down, you're going to find penalties, right? Like even false starts. If you slowed everything down to the 10th of the 10th of the 10th second, more than likely someone is going to get off early. Pause. It's not all going to be perfectly synced all the time. But should that be the case, if you go off the line of scrimmage a 10th of 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 a 10th early, should that be a false start? Probably not. All right, even though it is a false start technically. So I'm always really careful when it comes to that kind of stuff. Basketball is really bad about it because of the deflections off of the hands and stuff, and slowing things down. The spherical ball, like where it is on the court or the hoop or whatever, like, you know. So, and I hate when it ruins a game like that. So I understand the want of like, well, I just want the game to be perfectly reffed. I don't think people do. I don't think if you had the option to keep the NFL how it is, or every single call to be made and it to be 100% reffed to the letter, I think people would prefer how it is versus everything perfect, no doubt about it. You know, everything is exactly how it is. And yeah, I mean, it's that's how I kind of fall on it. Now, I do not think the game is rigged at all. I that's another thing that it's such a shallow argument. And I know you were saying you don't think it's rigged either, but a lot of people do. And I think it's such a shallow argument. It can be completely destroyed in like 10 seconds. You know, like they only want the big teams to be good. They only want the big media markets to be good. And the Jets and the Giants have been bad forever. You know, like why they like those teams have been horrible. Dallas has not won anything in 30 years. You know, like why wouldn't they help those teams out? You know what I mean? Like if that's all they care about, then why aren't those teams ever winning? Why are those teams a laughing stock for however long? There's certain games where it's like, well, why would they let that result happen? You know, why would they let whoever, you know, go to the Super Bowl, or why would they let whoever win this game, or who's in on it? Because then if you are fixing the game, the NFL is working with the officials, who's working with each head coach, who's working with each roster, to all simultaneously, all 100, however many players and dozens of coaches, they're all on the same page to fix the game live in front of 15 million people watching. And they do it so successfully every single time that it's never been caught. That's kind of crazy, right? Like the idea that, you know, Peyton Manning's facing Tom Brady. Peyton Manning's in on the fix. Tom Brady's in on the fix. All of the players on the rosters are in on the fix. It's being watched live, and they can play in the throes of the game. It can all look good, and no one's none the wiser. Like you said, they're either the greatest actors of all time, because even sometimes in WWE, there's like a botch, or there's something happens where it's like, oop, that wasn't supposed to happen. But that never happens in these games. You know, so I just find it hard to believe that, you know, and then what would be the benefit? The benefit is what? That they get the storylines they want? Because we know that's not true. That doesn't always happen. Because gambling? So is DraftKings making these decisions? How are they splitting the money up? Why would the players agree to lose to help DraftKings? Is DraftKings splitting the profit with all of the players, all of the teams, all of the league? Well, that wouldn't seem to be a good decision by DraftKings. You know, so I just think it's one of those things where it's like, it sounds cool, I guess, but, you know, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. All right, there you go. We're caught up. Boom. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening and sending in your calls. I really appreciate that. God, please, let the Saints beat the Falcons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to spill my coffee everywhere. Please beat the Falcons. I will see you in the next video. Peace.